Alright, this is a video on how to install Python 3 and how to use it in Windows 10. You're just going to do a simple Python 3 search on Google or whatever browser you're using, and you should immediately get this python.org site, and then you just download the latest version for Windows. So if you just hover over this downloads button, it should show you Python 3 or whatever version is currently the latest version. You're gonna quickly download it. It'll show down here, and you'll just wait for the setup installation to finish downloading. Now that it's done downloading, you're going to want to press this button right here, add Python 3.9 to the path. The reason why you're going to want to press that is because if you don't press that, you are not going to be able to use Python correctly. And so if you don't understand what environment variable paths are, that's okay. You're just going to press it, essentially. You don't have to understand this to be able to use Python. So now you're going to install it. It's just going to do its thing. And I will walk through this setup phase with you guys step by step. Alright, so the setup was successful. Now we just close this, and you're going to want to download this other thing called Gitbash. What Gitbash is essentially a terminal for Windows. So you might know that there is this other thing called command prompt that serves as a terminal inside of Windows, but it doesn't really work that well. It's kind of limited, and it just doesn't feel right. And so personally, I prefer something like Gitbash, which replicates more of a Linux or a Mac terminal. And so that's what we're going to be using. It's just much easier to work together in this class when you're using software that's similar. And so I do recommend getting Gitbash. And so this is going to be me showing you guys how to install Gitbash. So you will be going to this website, git-scm. You'll be looking for the downloads page. Press Windows, and you'll be installing it. I already have it installed, so I'm just going to be canceling this one. But I'll walk through the setup phase with you guys. So when you have the setup open, it'll look like this. You're going to basically just leave everything as it is, default basically. There's not really much you need to do. The default settings are pretty good as they are. Alright, for this one, you're just going to leave this one as is as well. Use Vim, because Vim is going to be the default text editor that we will be teaching for this class. I will be doing that. I will be covering Vim in another video, so let's go next. Let's just say let git decide. Alright, and so here, this is where you need to pay attention. You need to use git and optional Unix tools from the command prompt. Both git and optional Unix tools will be added to your path. So that means that git will be added to your path, and so you should be able to use git from your path, essentially. You need to do that in order to be able to use Python commands with git. Everything else you can pretty much just leave as is. Just keep pressing next, 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 and next. That's pretty much it for Gitbash. It's going to install, and you should be able to just use it. Alright, so Gitbash has successfully finished downloading. Now we don't need to look at the release notes. We can just launch Gitbash, and essentially now we have a working Gitbash terminal open. Now you should be able to just run any commands that you would like, and so first of all, let's just check if we have the ls command. So we run the ls command, and it shows us what files are in our current directory. and these are the files that are in this directory, which is the home directory for me. We are going to want to check if Vim is working. So Vim is going to be our default text editor that we are doing, that we are going to be using for this class. So I'm just going to do a simple print function for my test Python file just to test if Python is working. So I'm just going to do a simple print hello world. I'm going to save this as test.py, quit, and then Python3. So Python, maybe just Python. Okay, so the command that we will be able to use is just Python. And so you would just say Python and then test.py, and that'll run the hello world command that I wrote earlier. And that's the tutorial for Git and Python.